219. Hashtag foundational difference at Jamile Cannon. Hashtag VerseTV219A.
Everything that we accuse homeless people of is also true for rich people. They say homeless people have mental health issues, but so do rich people. Except rich people have treatment, therapy, psychiatrists, where homeless people have to deal with their mental health crises out in public, where they'll most likely be met with a police response. They say homeless people have drug addictions. So do rich people. Rich people can treat their psychiatrists like their personal drug dealers, and they often have the expendable income to not sacrifice their quality of life. Homeless people can have the same mental condition, just not the money to cover it, so they sacrifice more and more of themselves to feed the addiction. They say homeless people were violent, but homeless people are more likely to be victims of violence than perpetrators. Violent people exist across all social classes, but the risk to reward factors change when you have less. The fact that we see violence becoming more of an acute social problem the lower along the economic scale we go should point to the real root cause of the issues. The truth of the matter is the only foundational difference between people in different social classes is money. And any personal issue, whether it be a mental health crisis or a toothache, will become worse when you don't have money. So if we want to solve the problems that we see coming from the lower classes of society, the answer won't be in character education or motivation. It's going to be in money and resources. It's going to be about making sure basic needs are met so small problems don't become large problems and impact entire communities.
All right. And I will say, my initial reaction is absolutely. And I acknowledge how on Will and Grace, like way back in the day, I love me some Will and Grace. I used to love watching Will and Grace with my mommy. And Will and Grace, on Will and Grace, Karen's character, like, she had all of this money, and her thing was, it was a joke how she would use her psychiatrist as her drug dealer. But that's exactly what it is. You know, it's they're able to get legal drugs when you have a certain amount of money, legal drugs to feel a certain way, while other people or homeless people, as it's being talked about in this example, they have to resort to less acceptable methods. Now, my connection, I will say, as far as the homeless thing, when I get around with my walker and stuff and my complications that can be, you know, and also I dress really casually, very casually, very easy breezy. I get mistaken as homeless. And that's just what it is. And it can be whatever it is. Now, people talk about money equaling the root of all evil, and then say, well, it's not money itself, it's the desire of money. And I struggle with that because it's like, well, are you saying that we shouldn't work to get the money to make life smoother? And what I realize is that no, when they talk about money being the root of all evil, they're not just talking about people who have money or people who've worked to make money. They're also talking about the fact that money, being this thing that makes the world go round, can have anybody do wrong, evil things. And the wrong people, yeah, what people do to survive, having people do whatever they do to try to survive. And that's troublesome. And yes, capitalism has its benefits, and those on the top probably feel that us who are currently bottom dwellers just haven't played the game of life well. And I won't go into that right now. But as far as playing the game of life well, I'll take that in my 1 minute. Basic complexity.
I would say that I completely agree that the main issue, when you get down to it, is basically money. Should it be an issue? No, but it is. Um, Now people with a good, very good, solid foundation and money on nearly every level, um better off financially and are able to pay for their addiction. Not saying it's right, but that is what it is. And yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, so many. I won't say that because I don't want to seem like I'm encouraging it by any means. Addiction is not a good thing and not a good direction in which to take your life. No. Now, I will say, ultimately, all humanity is from Africa. And we all need to return to a kind of, well, I question. I'm like, well, maybe we should all return to a bartering system, like in the old days, like in the Eric Badu music video for one of my favorite songs ever that I'll definitely name one week. But the Next Lifetime music video, how in the old days you saw a scene of her going and getting a thing from a woman and she paid the woman with beans or something. And it's like, yeah, because money, I get it. The people on top want to stay on top and want top to be a clearly defined thing. And I get it. I get it. And, it's not easy. Mo Gaudat talks about AI being so much smarter, and it's like I wonder if they'd be able to figure out stuff like that. Best way to handle that. Anyway, my one sentence wrap up thing is simple monopoly example. Even when the game was obviously cheating for the person who won, like this was a test, not a test, but a study. And even when the people in charge of the study cheated for one particular person to win the game of Monopoly and made it obviously cheated on them, the winner would still, once they get to the top, they wouldn't acknowledge that the odds were stacked in their favor. They would just be like, well, you made some wrong choices in your game of Monopoly, so that's why you're not where I am. And that's kind of unfortunately how things are with humans, and people at the top will often feel like the people on the lower end are really just there because they didn't put in the hard work, even when things are obviously tilted in their favor. I say we need more compassion for our human siblings. That at the end of the sentence. Basic complexity.
Yes. Just gonna make sure I get this. All right. So on a very extremely basic level, we are all different. But I'm sorry, uh, but we are similar in many, many different ways. Yeah, so we're all different, but we do kind of want the same thing. That's what I have.
Okay. And the hashtag Verse TV family question, the family yes or no question is, if all income was made equal, might that make the world a better place for everyone if we all had the same income? Yes or no? You can delve into more if you wish, but yes or no. Now, yes or no for you, basic complexity. Are you ready for the next topic?
Yeah.